just a quick one. Where's Bitcoin going by the end of the cycle? When is the end of the cycle? What other really good plays you have right now? First of all, let's say this. Tomorrow, the Fed in the United States, most important financial institution, is going to announce that the interest rates will be lowered. Why is that important for every investor or potential investor? Because as long as that is happening, then you don't have to be afraid that your money is tanking. Even though the stock market is already in a bubble, the bubble will become bigger. Who says that the bubble has to burst? The bubble can become bigger. It has become bigger and bigger and bigger. And it will continue to go bigger before it will burst. But that's not going to happen in the next couple of months. But next year for sure, in 6 months. So is it really a good time to get in stocks? It's probably too late, especially if you look at the things I'm looking at. Nvidia, Google, Tesla. I mean, all these are part of the Magnificent Seven. And the only reason why in my opinion, sales software company in the world, Salesforce, is actually lagging a little bit behind. Now, I wouldn't actually touch any of these things. I would go in straight to Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is the time to get in if you want to make life-changing gains. And actually, that's even not true anymore because Bitcoin is too expensive. You can still make very good moves. I would say if you buy one Bitcoin right now, you can exit in 3 months with like 50,000 in your pocket. Of course, you have to first put in 100,000. And you know how that sounds like, this is a scam. It's actually not, because it's not a company, it's a system. So let's look at it. So what happened today is exactly what people who look a little bit at charts and also at the fundamentals and at the sentiment, and there's a lot of other things, but let's keep it simple, have seen coming, right? I said it here last week. We are gonna hit lower than 100K. And now we're just dropping lower. We went to 808 and then dropped all the way down. So basically $10,000 move in just like a couple of hours, and that's scary. And of course, now everybody's asking, how much further do we go? Are we going down to 80,000 now? And I'm pretty sure we're not going there. We're going to 80,000, but not now. We're going in the bear market, and that will be next year. But right now, we are still in the bull market. How do we know so sure? Well, it's very simple. Let's look at, basically, we only need 2 charts. I know people that don't like charts. I also didn't like it. But then I started to work for a software analytics company called SAS. And they're the market leader in business intelligence and analytics. And then people told me, who had no idea about trading, that it works and why it works. And then it's only you have to find out, okay, what are the indicators that the market is driven by? And what are the indicators that the big movers, the whales, or the institutional players are looking at to make long-term big decisions? And this is the time frame where Goldman Sachs is looking at. And that's not the time frame where you are looking at. You might be looking at similar indicators, but not the same time frame. And this, you can be simply down that like that. You only need the right time frame, and then you need a few indicators. Ideally, something that I have built together with an AI. And to make it long story short, this is just noise, right? I know it looks like brain cancer or eye cancer or AIDS, but yes, this is just local tops on the lower time frame, and the daily is not even such a low time frame. A lot of people, the so-called crack traders, they are trading on the hourly time frame. I mean, you're gonna go insane, and also not very smart to do, because it's a lot of adrenaline pumping in your body, lots of stress, and often no success, because you're thinking, okay, I have to sell. You get these signals here, the sell signals that I got from the AI. So basically, but if you only see every couple of days a sell signal flashing, you're gonna get crazy about it. It's like, because you never sell everything, right? You always sell a part. And you keep, for your long-term portfolio, you keep Bitcoin. This is the people who made the most money with this day. They're not even selling in a bear market. Yeah? Bear markets nowadays are different than they were before. 10 years ago, when I came to this game, you could say with laser prediction, okay, there's going to be next year a bear market, and by the end of that bear market, it's time to buy. This is not so easy anymore. Let's zoom out a little bit more. This is the weekly time frame. This is exactly where the traders from Goldman Sachs are looking at. I know a market maker from the New York Stock Exchange. I know, for most people that don't understand what a market maker is, They don't even know what an exchange is. So it makes no sense to explain it. If you would know it, you would have already found out. You're apparently not that deeply interested. Okay, but then it's fine. All you need to see from here is whenever we were touching the price of Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, this white line, we touched it a couple of times. As long this is the case, then the eye says the bull market is still intact. And right now the bull market is intact. If we hold that level where we are right now. So even if we stay exactly where we are and we stay there for a week, that means solid. We are going to go higher. And then you need to make a decision. Are you still going to sit on the sidelines, or are you finally taking some moves? I'm not saying you should, but this is the time to think about it. And that's actually it about Bitcoin. But that only starts with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most conservative investment in this area. Let's look a little bit further. Where do I see it ending? As I said before, it's harder to predict this and it's harder to master this. But based on mathematics, we can more or less say that we're most likely not going to see 170,000 next year, but we're probably going to see 169. This is based on a calculation that has been done with AI. And AI works really great with this market because there is nothing else but mathematics. And AI is mathematics. So deep learning and mathematics. So yeah, a few other things that are interesting to look at right now. This has been a top performer in the 200,000 bull market. And there's many people who think it's coming back now. And there's a reason, because the founder has not been here and not been engaging with the community for various reasons. People thought he was running away with the money. And other people say he was just hiding from the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission. Both doesn't sound very bullish. But he hasn't hid, and he wants to bring out a new product. And whether or not the new product is going to succeed gives him now opportunity to bring his old coins, the core coins, into the limelight again, into the spotlight. And this is why these coins, and this is just one of them, this is just one example, will benefit from this new coin, this new ecosystem that's launched. It's a privacy ecosystem where everybody can on-ramp and off-ramp. And this is something, if you know about this market, it doesn't exist. You can only on-ramp. It's complicated. It's complicated. You need your identity with you. You cannot just do that anonymously. So if you on-ramp and you send money to the blockchain, and you have to send the money back to the same way, this is the payment gateway, the on-ramp and off-ramp, then everybody knows how much money you made with Bitcoin. Yeah, you can spend lots of time trading on decentralized exchanges. But one time, at some stage, you need to bring back your precious cryptocurrencies to an exchange that had a fiat gateway, and then you need to trade it with euros or US dollars to send it back to your bank account to buy you a nice house. So that means everybody who makes significant money in this market is essentially fucked. And this project, which I'm not going to name here now because it's really clearly staged, I don't even know if I'm going to invest in it or not. I have invested in this when it launched 4 or 5 years ago. And it looks like a pump and dump now, but we were riding a wave of insanity and euphoria that you have no idea. I mean, this doesn't even remotely explain what really has happened. Imagine just in the few months where it rocketed, and you every day you wake up and you check the balance, it's like, fuck, it's now, I put in 4,000. Then a couple of months later, it was like 16. Then a week later, it was 30, 32. There was 64. There was suddenly it was 128. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Now, I can say that because I don't have it anymore. And I didn't sell it. It has been stolen. I was robbed. And I made a big, big mistake by not trusting that it's going to be fine. What if you got robbed? You need to have cold storage. So when I had the cold storage, I was traveling all the world. And what happened? It broke in my room, in my hotel, and took out everything that was there, including my cold storage. That's why I'm not going to go cold storage anymore. So this is another way to look at the charts, a little bit, a little bit more focused on basically, essentially, the big pump that happened in 2020 and 21. And since then, we have actually just seen everything slide down. And lots of people said, yeah, this is the low, this is the low, this is the low. It's actually never a guarantee. You could be surprised how much lower it will still go. However, considering that we have hit a very specific timeline and also a very, very strong dynamic support, which is nothing else than the 21 moving averages that the TI has calculated. So we have done that. We know we are a little bit late in the cycle. Normally the cycle should be over now. Should be over or be over next month. But we have the difference in this cycle is institutional adoption. So there is no retail investors, and the institutional adoption, there is no FOMO, right? So it will have, in my understanding, a little bit more of a delay. So the top will not be in typically this Q4, 2 years after the halving for Bitcoin. But this affects all other coins as well. And if the window is over, then everything flips, and then for a year you have fear in the market and lower and lower prices. Now this is a risk that's on the horizon, and you have to be thoughtful of it. That's why you need to think two scenarios. What if that happens? What if this actually happens in January and we see everything go down? I say great, then we get really good prices. I just don't think so. But Q2 next year, then their risk is going to be huge, especially if we hit the price targets. With Bitcoin 150,000, yeah, I said, okay, we're probably going to go to 170, but there is no guarantee. So if you want to play it safe, I mean, as plays as you can do, then you would just ride the wave up to 150,000, get out, and then wait and get in. And you might then miss the absolute top of the ride, which might go even higher, 175, 180, but it's very, very unlikely, statistically almost impossible. So this is all about statistics, and it's about probabilities. And if you understand that game, you don't even need to do so much deep dive, understand all the different type of technologies, because it's all a little bit of a frenzy anyway. What you need to understand in this market is more about psychology. But this is actually in most markets. But this is a market where ideas and visions are more important than fundamentals. But this is a mistake that many people make, and they go on things that are nice, shiny objects, but they have no substance. And this is one that I still like, even though it has really, really fallen from grace. You can say that from a very different perspectives. The founder made some stupid decisions. I had contact with him personally before I was robbed, and I told him, look, man, I was in 2022. I was after we were going down and down and down, and he was only doing live streams talking about nonsense and showing his new Gucci bags, and the community didn't really like that. But we will see. He's coming back from the grave now, and he's gonna introduce a new project. And this project is gonna pump the other bags. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this goes back to all-time highs. I don't think so, to be honest. But I think we might go there, like maybe not to 50 cent, but maybe to 5 cent if everything goes really, really well within this bull market. Maybe back to 25 cents. That would be 100x from here. Actually, more than 100x. So 100x. So imagine that you put in. $1,000 is too much. You don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, some money that you want to throw away. Let's say like $100 or $10. $10 is a joke, because then you pay €1 for the transaction cost. So that makes no sense. And 100 should be the minimum. Otherwise, it's pointless. Then you can also bet €1, and then if it goes up 10x, you can't even afford a pizza. It makes no sense. And you, in hindsight, are telling yourself, you're beating yourself up about it, and you say, why was I so stupid? At 10x, if I would have put in 1,000, it would have been 10,000. But this is not how it works. Anyway, so these are just examples of low cap gems. And I say gems because of their potential. And this is just an example. There's lots of others. Near protocol. It was already at 250 in the last bull market. and then nothing has changed. This is a protocol. It's an infrastructure play. The market needs this technology. This is very simple. I have done this and seen this before, and this is just a very, very easy ride to the upside, right? There's almost no risk, but you have to look at it yourself. This one is already in the top 100. It's not gonna go like ballooning, yeah, but it will do something. And then, at the end of every cycle, and we're coming closer to the end of the cycle, even though it's gonna be most like a prolonged cycle. But what happens at every time that I've seen now is that in the last couple of months, or when people think then the top is in, you see a rise of the privacy coins. And the reason is because this is the last part is where millionaires are getting created. And lots of the small cap coins you can see now they're pumping. I have a couple of on my shortlist. They have pumped hundreds of percent just in a couple of days. And this one hasn't pumped that much, but if you look at it, where the price has been just a few years ago and where it's now, it was $20. Now it's 500. How high can this go? It's very hard to say, obviously, but this is definitely overpriced. Yeah, I would just look at the chart and say, no, we are gonna come down hard here. And then we come down maybe to 50% drop, I would say, from here, and then it's good time to get in. But there's something that hasn't pumped this hard. That is another privacy play that is also around since forever. And they have huge community. And here the price is not so overbought. So I think that a lot of people who are doing the privacy play, because I said earlier, you need psychology. So a lot of people who are doing that play, they are moving ships, right? When a ship has already pumped, yeah, when the window was in the sail and made big progress, and now the window is leaving, and I see, oh, other ships are picking up speed, they'll jump ship. It's not easy to do, but if you understand the narrative, you say, oh wow, we have in the top 500, we have about 10 privacy coins with a very strong privacy network. Monero is one of them, Dash is one of them, Zcash was one of them, PIFX is one of them, and then you have Verge. But then the others don't have a lot of big market share or volume or community. So these are the top 5, right? And Zcash has already pumped, Monero has already pumped, Dash has pumped, but as you can see now the price has massively dumped. This is the time to buy again, right? A little bit lower, maybe you have to wait a little bit lower. Fuck off. You have to wait a little bit more, but actually now it's the time to do it because you don't know if the price is gonna touch that white line. You don't know that for sure. So if you're gonna sit here on the sidelines and wait for the rocket is taking off, you're gonna be pissed. Is that everything that I had? Yeah, I think that's everything I had. I think Zcash, Dash, all the privacy plays make sense. Infrastructure is good to have. Potential other blockchains is a good hedge. So, and then we have it. I mean, there's of course others to consider. For instance, come on. So for instance, Casper. Casper is not doing really well right now, even though even Bitcoin people love it, and people understand this market at all. The Bitcoin people, they are the most conservative people. They are like the gold investors. Bitcoin people, they don't have altcoins. Bitcoin people don't like to have Ethereum. The people who have Ethereum, they don't like Bitcoin because they think this is outdated technology. It doesn't even have smart contracts. It is a joke. It is not programmable money. It's not even programmable decentralized applications. It's nothing. I mean, it's a joke. It's a good store of value, but that's it. So there's two different types of philosophies here. And Casper is the only altcoin. It's basically a modern version of Bitcoin. And it has skyrocketed. I mean, if you look at the price now, I mean, it has done already a 50x. So a 50x, that's 5,000% up. You don't see that here in the graph because it launched actually not on 24th. It launched earlier. You only see a part of the image. But this is an infrastructure play, a really big infrastructure play. It's just a shame that there's only downward pressure at the moment. It's just, you see, once it has gone below that line that AI said we shouldn't go low, boom, try it again to exactly that point. It didn't hold it all the way down the elevator to the ground floor. And that's why, as long as we have that kind of momentum going on, I'm not going to touch this. I'm not going to touch this. I'm going to wait really, really for a rebound here. And I don't want to grab a falling knife. And this looks terrible. Absolutely. There is no end in sight. I mean, there's just no end in sight. If I would make a guess, I would say we go to 003. Yeah, so that is, we are here now and we're losing the support. That means we go all the way down here. And that's gonna be critical. But that would be then the time to get in. So as you can see, there are a lot of plays and I have not even looked at all of them. Of course, it's good to have some gold, but the big rally in gold is over. Of course, we're gonna go to 5,000, but it's gonna take fucking slow. It's gonna take forever. The party's over with Nvidia, with Google, all too overvalued. Everybody knows it. The Fed decision will probably pump their bags a little bit more, maybe 10%, 20%, but that's overreached. And I'm gonna wait a little bit more for Salesforce, a CRM. I want to see at least $300 because this is a joke. The price. I mean, I work for this company. You know, it's one of the best IT companies in the world, but it's just a shame to see that the price that we are in, we were there. Like 2020, 5 years ago. So 5 years with no profits. And now I waited long enough. I'm gonna kick this to the dust and I go all in crypto. And then I ride a wave and then I go early retirement. Right? I mean, I could go with this early retirement as well, but then I need to wait until I'm 60. I don't have the time. Right? That's it for now. I'm out.